Welcome in, you guys. Cowboy here. I got my co-captain Joseph over here. Joseph Flapjack or Joey Pancake, if you'd rather. Hey, little bubs. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the snow, the best build for it, which is kind of a trick question. There is no best build, guys. The snow is a unstoppable monster, regardless of whatever weaponry you put on it. But today I'll be going over some objectives. But before we get into that, guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, please comment. It helps me, it helps the algorithm, and it's going to help you because it's going to give you a chance to win my giveaway that I'm currently doing. Um, all this, everything in my stash, all my materials. I've got every weapon in the game. I've got every armor in the game, every furniture in the game. A lot of materials, almost 6 million gold or silver, I guess. Um, if you didn't see something you wanted in there, literally, it's probably on one of these boats. I've been doing a lot of build testing. Everything's everywhere right now, but literally have everything in the game as of everything's out December 7th right now, and it's all up for grabs. All you got to do is subscribe and comment on a Skull and Bones video on my channel. That's it. But let's go ahead and get into it, guys. If you're not familiar with the snow, what's it do? Um, well, it's got this really cool perk right here, Tenacity. This isn't so special. Increased brace strength 150%, not so special. The Battle Junk has something very similar. The Hulk has a better perk. It does have 100% brace strength recovery, which is really, really, really good. But the real kicker, guys, the real bread and butter of the snow, the thing that makes it stand out to me personally, it makes it the best boat for eating damage, is it recovers 5% of its brace strength per second while bracing. That is absolutely massive. Like the Hulk, guys, when you upgrade the Hulk, it's gonna have a bigger brace, but once that brace runs out, you're SOL, man. You're up the creek without a paddle. Um, this boat, it just keeps eating damage, eating damage, eating damage. Your biggest struggle, guys, is stamina management, and we're going to talk about the correct furniture to use to counter that in this video, so you don't have to worry about stamina management. When you upgrade this boat, guys, when you 6-6 this with the upgrades, you're going to get Vindictive. So after you brace damage, it increases your weapon damage by 20% for 20 seconds. This is pretty big, guys. It's a very basic, very plain ship, but simple is not bad. Simple is actually really good. I like simple. Now, let's get into the details of the snow, I guess, at this point. So, the snow doesn't really thrive with its bow weapons. It's even if you go like an all deck here, guys, you only have 2 gun ports, so you may as well go with a top deck only weapon for the bow. Really good options, guys. The Nash Car is a really good long gun. Divine Thunder, really good long gun. You could go like La Picares, really good long guns. Just some kind of top deck weapon, doesn't really matter. I'd probably stay away from torpedoes. I'd probably stick with bombards or long guns. But do whatever you enjoy. That's kind of the beauty of this boat, is that literally any gun will work wonders. Now, for the broadsides, we're a little more blessed. We have 7 gun ports for alt deck, whereas we only have 3 for top deck. So I do recommend you guys actually take a demi cannon or a culverin for the broadsides. So that's going to be your port or your starboard. Just so you can utilize those additional cannons there. 7 versus 3, pretty big difference, even though the numbers are pretty disproportionate. I recommend this beauty right here, Fall Ilse, Fall Isle, however you want to say that. It's probably one of the best demi cannons in the game. It's piercing 3, so it gets really big multipliers on the weak spot damage. It's going to apply punctured, which is really big this season. That's the new status effect, if you didn't know. And then it's got ricochet, so it actually does AoE, like splash damage, if you will, which is really, really, really good. A couple other good options, guys. I would actually recommend the Basilisk. It hits hard. It's the other piercing type all deck weapon, and it's got Raider. If you're going to do this, guys, I'd go more of a crew attack focused build. We'll talk about furniture for that when we get to the furniture. But really, guys, with the snow, weapon-wise, there is no wrong answer. Everything just kicks and takes names, man. It's a beautiful boat, guys. This is an amazing boat. Now, when we get into the auxiliary weaponry, I personally, I do a lot of sea monster hunting, so that's kind of what I'm kitted up for right now. That's the build I'm showing you. I went with, let me explain my choices here a little bit better. I went with the Dauntless guns because they have this unison perk, and while it's only one shot versus, like, one click versus two clicks, the big thing about the snow guys is bracing damage, right? Theoretically, if you brace everything correctly, you don't ever take damage. You don't have to worry about healing, nothing, because the only thing that you can't brace is status effects, and our whole armor, we'll talk about that in a second, it'll heal us out of those, no problems. So I like to use this gun because it's literally one click and then it reloads for what, 6.87 seconds. It reloads for 7 seconds. Same with the broadsides. The reason I go Demi cannons over culverins here, even though culverins like the Basilisk might be a better choice for damage, for crew attacks, for range, like all that's better utility. Like I said, I use this for sea monster hunting. You need to be able to brace, you know, at a moment's notice, and you really don't want to have to sacrifice damage for it. So the really cool thing about both Fall Ilse or False Isle, whatever, Demi cannons is they're one click, and you fire all 7 cannons, all the shots, you're done, and then it reloads, right? Same thing with these. The Unison perk makes these the same thing, one click. So, you know, say you're coming at me from, like, my front right, I can mag dump my Bombard, my broadside, in half a second, and then already be bracing up for the next thing. And that's what I really like about this setup. Really good for sea monster hunting. And then rockets are probably the easiest thing. Rockets or Infernal Maw are probably the easiest thing to hit sea monsters with. If you're doing like just regular boats or whatever, again, Warhammer is probably one of the hardest hitting auxiliary weapons. Infernal Maw is probably a close second. If you're doing La Piqueres, the poison long gun, consider taking the Fleuve, because you can actually take a furniture item that's going to give them both 8% more damage and 15% faster reload speed, which is pretty good. Now, when we get into the armor, guys, I like the Ouroboros. It gives you pretty decent mitigations towards burning and flooded. And remember I was talking about status effects are one of the only things that go through your brace. So, you know, having these huge mitigations for that is perfect for our build. The 20% explosive, I'd rather have like 10 and then 10 on piercing, but, you know, it's what it is. Or like even, you know, like 6 and 6 or something, you know what I mean? But it's whatever. All in all, it doesn't matter. It's really good. What we're really taking this for, guys, are these two perks right here. They're both just amazing. So we kind of just get to ignore flooding damage, because flooding damage over time isn't that bad, and 50% of it is severe damage. This restores severe damage every second, so we don't even have to worry about it. We're really just worried about burning. And we'll counter that with some furniture, so don't even sweat that. But this is the real kicker, guys. This is the meat and potatoes, the bread and the butter, the stick to your gut of this build. It's going to give you 15% of the damage you brace is converted into healing for your whole health. That is phenomenal, because remember, we're 2 clicks. We're 2 clicks. We got all our damage out, and with this, you're playing like Dark Souls, right? Like, you're just hitting your brace. You're just timing your brace to eat damage. You don't really have to worry about, you know, landing your shots, throwing stuff out. Like, you throw your damage out, 2 clicks, and then you just brace and everything, and you're unkillable. You're a monster. Now, alternatives to this, guys. Again, with the damage over time stuff, the stats effects being an issue, Dark Meditation from Tanashka is a pretty good second. This comes out of the Battle Pass, so there's no excuses why you can't get this. This comes from the Sea People, guys. You can buy this for like, I think 75 monster teeth, the blueprint to craft it, and then you just make it. It's easy to make. Really no excuse to have either of them. If you're a snowman, guys, this is what lets the snow cook. This, paired with how our passives work, is just so good. So let's talk about the furnishings now, guys. This is the next big thing right here, the water tank. This is huge for us because, like I said earlier, our brace never runs out. You should never die through your brace in this game unless you're doing like a 3v1 in PvP. And I've even, if you check my great value Lepest build, that was like one of the first videos I ever put out. I got a clip of me doing a 1v5 on this build in PvP. I think I did sync at one point, but then I came back and got 13 kills on that server against the same people. And it's not like they were bad people. They were all rank 13 boats. Like, this boat is a monster. So, water tank is really one of the keys that lets us cook here, guys. It helps us with our stamina management while we're bracing, really cuts down by half. Now, you can actually throw food on top of this, guys, and get another 30%. That's what, like, almost 80%. I think there's a couple different modifiers. We can get it up to like 80 or 90% with food and some other furniture. Let me see, hold on. We got 50, 60, 70 from Spirit Locker. I don't know how the food's going to scale with that, because I think you can get another 30% from food. Technically, that's 100%. Oh, this is at the start, I guess. So that's my bad. So it's just 80% is what we get. But, anyways, 80% stamina reduction in cost. And then this ups the recovery, which is pretty nice. This is available in the black market if you'd like to get this. This comes from the Cubic Twins. They will be available again if you don't have this yet. They'll be available to farm again on the 31st, I think. You can check your seasonal calendar. It'll tell you when the Cubic Twins come back, but I'm pretty sure it's the 31st. They're at the very bottom of that. Now, we're taking Leather Station, or the Leather Fashioning Station, I think is what this used to be called. I don't know why they've updated the name. That's kind of weird. That's weird. Anyways, I'm 100% sure this was Leather Fashioning Station, but anyways, this is just going to help us. Like I said earlier, guys, a blaze is our biggest threat. Our whole armor kind of helps us counter a blaze and flooded, but it really peels the flooded off because it heals that severe damage. It doesn't have anything special for the blaze, so this is how we're countering a blaze pretty good, as well as the reduced charge by 7% from the Compagnie screens. Compagnie screens also reduce our incoming damage from AoE, so if you're fighting like a bombard spamming Sandbook, or like a majority of the bosses in this game, they're one-shot mechanics. They're all AoEs for the most part, so this is really big for that. And then I just took to up my broadside damage, starboard powder kegs, and then the port powder kegs. Really, like, these are the flex spots, guys, these two. If you want to do something different with these, throw them in here, but I highly recommend you keep the major furnishing, which is the water tank. You need to keep the Compagnie Spirit Locker, because the larger brace size from this, and then the, while affected by stats effect, the less stamina consumption than the free armor. This is a S tier piece. This is a non-negotiable. You have to have water tank. Leather Station is probably like an A tier. It's good. You could replace it with something else if you wanted to, but Compagnie screens, again, it's like an A tier. You could replace it, but I don't know what you'd replace it with unless you're just going full damage. But if you're doing full damage, like, the snow's not the right boat for it, guys. Go play a Brigantine, go play a Garuda, go play a barge, Sandbook, you know, something tailored for damage if you really just want to get those big numbers. The snow ain't it, chief. But yeah, these are your flex spots, guys. If you wanted to put on like Brace Gun Whale, it's going to reduce your secondary damage. Help you with some stamina management right here if you're doing PvP. I think you can go like medicine. No, that's medicine cabinet. There's one more. Oh, right here. This will help you with your PvE stamina management if you really need help with that. But you shouldn't, dude. PvE, this build's perfectly fine. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think that's everything. GG's. The Snow is a fantastic boat, guys, especially if you're new, if you're trying to learn mechanics, if you're trying to learn the game, you're trying to solo any and all content. The Snow is a great contender. There are certainly better boats for certain things. Like if you're trying to do Vikram, you're going to want to use a cutter or a Garuda or something along those lines. I do have a guide for that on my channel if you want to check that out. But I soloed Vikram, the level 16 Vikram, with a cutter with fire long guns and I don't even remember what. Like, I did it with like noob gear, like the most basic gear. It's all crafted, super easy to set up. But it was literally just to show, you know, you can do it with anything. But GG's, guys. Please subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see, any builds you need. that kind of thing.